All right, you guys, thank you so much for being on as usual. And I wanted to, this is just such a special call for us because we have my friend and super trainer Joel Freeman with us tonight. So it's an honor really to call him a friend. And he, may or may not, we don't know, be the next celebrity trainer. But we're here just to have a very casual, informal kind of interview session with him. And I will turn it over to him. I emailed him a list of our team's questions. So he has a little bit of a script, but knowing him, he's just going to sort of fly by the seat of his pants a little bit. And then Joel, a little bit about us. We are Team Play Hard, and we are a group. I've been in the business for 4 years, so we are 4 years old and newer, and we are a group that is very much have become like family. So we're a lot of Pacific Northwest, but we span the country, and there's 30 of us that are coming to Summit, and we all signed up for your workout. We're major Joel Freeman fans on this team, and so anyway, we're just a bunch of down-to-earth, casual, good friends who love fitness, love helping people, and we adore you. So go ahead and take it away.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you, and thanks for having me on. Hi, everybody. Thanks for jumping on. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, I've been watching the weather there, and I'm sorry you're not. It seems like a dismal summer so far. And hey, I feel like I lived in Olympia, Washington for 8 years, so I know Pacific Northwest summers and what you look forward to. But hey, you can always come to SoCal, and that's exactly why I moved down here, because you can be right here. There's sunshine, and that's how it always works. But enough bragging. But we also pay more taxes than anybody does, I feel like, in the entire world. So there is that. So there's always the downside to it. So yeah, Ellen sent me some questions, and I definitely am going to answer all of them. I have the chat box open. I love questions. I love this as being a dialogue, and if you guys have anything, you can ask me. You can't ask me about any program that's coming out, because I'm not going to tell you. Ellen tries that every time we meet up when she comes to LA, and we always have breakfast, and she tries to ask, and I just look at her and smile and say she's pretty. So there's not going to be much that I can tell you about that, and so we'll just get that off the table right now, because that's all you're going to get. But everybody knows we're working on stuff. That Jericho and I are working on stuff, and all I can tell you is it's. What does they say? Patience is usually rewarded. So the more patient you are, the more you're going to get rewarded. And I promise you, it's freaking awesome. It's even more exciting that you guys are all going to do our workout at Summit. Actually, Jericho and I are getting together tomorrow we're working on that workout right now. It's going to be something that nobody's ever seen before. That's the best thing about live workouts is the live workouts are awesome, because we are not tied to anything. They just say, hey, you have 30 minutes, so we can do whatever music we want. We can do whatever workout, exercise type stuff we want. So that's really where we thrive. So if you've done our cruise workouts, you kind of got a taste of that, because we absolutely love that. So one of the reasons I reached out to Ellen and been doing a lot of these calls, I think I actually have 25 calls in the next couple weeks with coaching teams all around the country and all around the world, actually. And the reason for this is because I really wanted to start working with coaches on the business side of it. And the reason I want to do that is because I have over a decade of fitness business experience working on the gym side. And when it comes to that, we're talking, gym sales and membership sales and personal training sales, and, doing this, being on that side of the business for almost a decade and really working that taught me, I learned a lot about the value of fitness. And I know I know how they can easily translate over into the coaching world. Now, with that said, the coaching world of what you guys do as coaches, of Beachbody coaches, and everyone always laughs when I say this, but it's like, I know literally this much about all the details of being a coach. And like, that's even exaggerating probably when it comes to it. So like all the things that you guys have to do in terms of trying to explain to me, like someone tried to explain to me, like the legs and the downlines and the rubies and the emeralds and all the freaking stones. I have no idea what's going on with that. I just know that you have to sell shit and sign people up. That's pretty much it. So with that said, really comes down to the challenge of creating value when you're talking to people. And that's how I know that this stuff works, and what I'm going to talk about today can help. And I'm not going to say that all this is going to help you. I'm not going to say that this is going to blow your mind. I'm probably not even going to, this is not even rocket science, because I'm not even that smart, but it's just really how you put this all together and really start talking to people. And that's why I structured it this way. And I'm going to do my little spiel and tell you this first, and then we'll go through the questions that Ellen sent me and the questions you guys have. And I think some of your questions that Ellen sent will probably be answered with this. So, by the way, Jen, I love the fact that I see a cattail in your screen right now. That is freaking awesome. All I see is a cattail and a butt. That's just classic. So it's my life. It's only because Chloe's asleep on the couch. That's why it's quiet, because the cat's asleep. So don't wake her up. So this is called. It's basically creating value in fitness, and it's being recorded, so you don't have to write it down. But if you want to take notes, then you can. And I'm going to go through it rather quickly, but I can always answer questions and recap. So, creating value in fitness is very, very easy for people like us, because we are all the fitness freaks. We're the ones that love health and fitness. We've adopted it. It's become part of our lives, and it doesn't matter what your past is, what your history is. It doesn't matter what you used to do. I went from my first job at the gym was 1920 at the front desk. But before that, I was managing nightclubs, Freeman houses, and I had a cigarette in my mouth the whole time. I smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes a day and just bartended and partied, and maybe went to class if I got bored. And so it has absolutely nothing to do. It doesn't mean you have to have been healthy your whole entire life. Actually, those usually make for good stories, because you did do something that was completely different. But then everybody here, as well as myself, eventually at some point saw the value in health and fitness. And I'm not talking about the value in terms of making a living. I'm talking about in terms of how it's going to affect your life and how you want it to affect your life. So it's very easy for us to understand the value of Shakeology, understand the value of Beachbody performance products, and understand the value of the awesome programs that have come out, and the awesomer programs that are coming out in the future with people like Joel and Jericho. So there's a lot of stuff there that we understand that there's value there, but the challenge is how do you convince the rest of the population? Have you guys had that challenge? You can nod your heads. It's a video chat, so if you nod your heads, I can see you. Okay, cool. If you haven't, you can shake your head no and say, I'm awesome, and you can teach me a couple of things. How about that? So teaching somebody or trying to help somebody understand the value of fitness, especially when we'll use Shakeology for example, because as I understand it, Shakeology is not a cheap bag of stuff, right? It's like, what, $100 right now? About $100-ish? So for people that don't understand really what Shakeology is, they're going to see about $130. Holy shit. Sorry. It's expensive. See, I told you I didn't know. But here's what's going to happen. No matter what you say right now and try to tell someone, well, yeah, Shakeology is great. It's dense nutrition. It's not just protein powder. It comes with this and this and this and this and this. People don't care, because all they're going to do is they don't understand really what the value is in it. And all they're going to do is they're going to compare it to stuff that already exists on the shelves, like GNC products, Costco brand protein powder is $20. And they say, well, why shouldn't I just do that? So this is a challenge, right? Okay, so how do we make people or help people understand the value of fitness? And so what I did is I made this very, very simple, because again, not smart, got to make it easy for me. So I'm going to make it easy for you. I call it the fitness funnel. And if you want, and it always helps to visualize. So if you visualize a funnel at the top, you know how a funnel works. You throw a bunch of stuff at the top and it all jumbles down. So at the bottom, it spits out something nice and neat and organized. And that's exactly why I did this. So it's called the fitness funnel. The first thing you have to do in the funnel is throw in information. So you can write these trigger words down. The first thing in fitness funnel is information. This is something that we used to do, and if you think about it in terms of advertising and marketing, we used to do when I was marketing director at Gold's Gym, and we think about all the stuff that we used to do at Gold's Gym, was to make Gold's Gym the authority on health and fitness. And that's their tagline, and that's what they've done. So Gold's Gym started in 1965, and now in 2016 is the most recognized fitness brand in the entire world. It is not the biggest gym. It doesn't have the most people, doesn't have the most members, doesn't have the most gyms in the world. There's gyms, 24 Hour Fitness and LA Fitness, blow them out of the water. But it is known to be it has the most recognition. And the reason for that is because Gold's Gym has made it their complete effort is to give so much information out to people, free information, information that costs nothing, information that is free for people and without expecting anything back. It's not saying if you don't join as a member, I'm not gonna give you the information. It's not what they say. You go to their website, they have a thing called the Strength Exchange and all this different stuff where actually without even being a member, you can get 7-day, you can get nutrition plans, you can get workout guides, you can actually get everything you need to get healthy and fit without even being a member. And they know that eventually, this is what the whole point of doing information is, they know eventually is finally when somebody is ready to take the next step, the first thing they're going to think of is the last thing or the thing they see most about the information that's about that decision. So if they keep seeing Gold's Gym, the brand of Gold's Gym, if they keep seeing Gold's Gym, Gold's Gym, Gold's Gym, Gold's Gym, Gold's Gym, finally, when they say, I think I'm ready to take that next step, first thing that pops in their head is Gold's Gym. And that's exactly what you want to do as a coach. This is how we bring it back to you guys, is think of all the information, all the assets that you have at your disposal from Beachbody and from anybody else and all the articles. I'm not talking just Beachbody, I'm talking all the fitness articles. There's so much stuff out there, is to make an effort to organize that information and then start sending it out to people. And you guys, this is what you do. You have to talk to people. And Carl did a post today about saying talk to one person. Well, yeah, you got to talk to one person, but that's just the start. You have to talk to a lot of people and keep pushing information out to where eventually when they finally make the decision or when something finally clicks, they go, wow, you know what? I think I'm finally, okay, so, man, I'm tired of being overweight, but Ellen is always posting about her classes that she does. She's always posting about that. So maybe I should, talk to her about it. It's going to be something that they're going to take the next step, and it's going to be talking to somebody about it. And Robert, yes, you asked, make it your own or just share information from other sources. Dude, there's no reason to try and make up your own stuff. There's so much stuff out there. I don't make up my own stuff. There's you leave it to the experts, the ones that the doctors, the nutritionists, and all this stuff like that, leave it up to them. And then it's your job to put it into a path that somebody can understand, right? So basically think of it as you are the middleman through it. So especially if these are the people that are not into health and fitness, they are not following the channels that you are for the blogs, for all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So take the information, present it in your own voice, present it in your own way. And it's a great question because when you do this, when you throw information out there, always, we have to think about our target audience. Who are you targeting? Who are you going after? And I use myself as an example on this one because, my world is a little bit different now. So with everything we're doing, I'm not a coach, but we have, as trainers, whatever we are, super celebrity trainers with it, whatever the hell the title is now. I can't call myself a super trainer. It's too weird. Or a celebrity trainer. I'm just this dude over here in LA. We have affiliate links and everything like that too, but I don't, if you start looking at all my posts, if you go back and look at my posts the past couple of months, I don't post my links at all because I know that my target audience right now are Beachbody coaches. And that's exactly what you guys have, is you have your links and everything like that. So I'm not trying to take away business by any means because I have my own thing that I'm doing, which is programming all this stuff and working on the higher end of Beachbody to help you guys ultimately. So that's why you see I figured out my target audience, I changed my message, and now I'm just throwing information at you guys, funneling it down as much as possible to help you. Does that make sense? Nod your heads if it does. Cool. So you've thrown information out, people, and you've been hammering it and hammering it. And remember that you never, ever can throw information out and expect a reciprocation. You can never expect something to come back, because the minute you do and it doesn't, you don't get a response for someone, that's when you start to get disappointed, dejected, like, well, I talked to 50 people and nobody got excited and nobody is into this. And well, look, it's all timing. So just understand that you have to keep throwing information out. You have to keep hammering people, as many people as possible, throwing it out there, understand who you're talking to, and eventually, when the timing is right, those people will come back. Now, when those people come back, they start to move down your funnel, your fitness funnel, and the next step is the experience. Now, the experience, which is the next word that you're going to write down, is that is the experience that person is going to have with you. So as Carl said in his post today, talk to one person. Okay, so let's just say that person called you or finally decided to reach out to you. They're going to have an experience with you, and it's pretty simple. It's either going to be good or it's not. It's going to be bad. And we all know what bad experiences happen. What do people do? They tell everybody they know, and then they put it on Yelp. And right now there's no Beachbody coach Yelp, but I'm pretty sure it's coming. $1 million idea. If anybody takes advantage of it, I'll take my royalty checks payable in cash. So it's going to happen. And if a bad experience happens, look, that's, sometimes you only get the one shot. We always hear you never get a second chance to make a first impression. There's all these different sayings. So when it comes to the experience, you want to make sure that these people that you speak with have a great experience. And the way to do it means you don't try to sell them anything the first time. The first time you talk to somebody, and this, again, I'm going to tell you, this is my own personal opinion, by the way, so take it for what it's worth. But in my world of fitness, I would never try to sell somebody the very, very first time unless they asked me for the sale, which is a weird reverse psychology thing when it comes to sales. And if any of you guys are in sales, that is completely opposite of the sales world and what they say, right? They're always saying, you asked for the sale. And I hear all the time, a lot of the questions I've gotten on these calls already is, coaches like, well, how do you ask for the sale? Like, what do you do when you get rejected and they say no? Well, no one ever said no because I wouldn't ask for a sale the very, very first time that they would come into the gym, ever. I would always make sure that I gave them all the information and then we would have a good experience and then we would move on to the next step, which I'll talk about in a second. So take out sale, boom, it's out of the world because we're going to give them a good experience. And what that means is we're going to shut the F up. When you talk to somebody, that means you're going to see, Ellen, I didn't say it. It means shut the hell up. There you go. You don't say anything. You ask questions. You don't talk. If they want to know a little bit of information about Beachbody and Shakeology and performance products and things like that, great. Give them the basics. The rest of the stuff they can find online, and they've probably already seen it anyway. They just want to hear it again from you. But if anything, it should be more along the line of you saying, hey, tell me your story. Tell me about your life. Tell me your day-to-day. Tell me everything about you. And why are we talking right now? What is it about your life? What is it about the path that you're on right now? Your day-to-day, the fact that you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, that you go to bed at this time. What is it about that day right there that you don't like? You want to change things. Listen to them, really talk to them. All those questions that you probably normally would have asked later down the road are like, how much weight do you want to lose? And how much do you want to do this? And how much money can you think you can spend? And blah, blah, blah. All those questions will be answered. And everybody loves, we all know this, everybody loves to talk about themselves. It loves to tell you about their day. Right? Everybody's nodding their head, right? Come on. Everyone loves to do that. And so the more you listen, the more they're really going to feel, going down the funnel, that they have a connection with you. So connection's the next word, and connection is key because once you've connected with somebody, once you have a connection with them, and man, once you got it, you're in. They're never letting go. That's exactly what you want to do, is create a connection with someone. So when that one person hangs up the phone or gets off the video chat, they say, wow, you know what? Ellen really wants to help me. I really feel that. I feel like we have a connection. When you hear that, you're golden. It's great. I promise you that everything else is going to be so much easier because and I don't want this to sound bad, but now the wall's down. The sales tactic wall, that's gone. Now they're not thinking that Ellen's just trying to sell stuff to them. They actually really, really think, wow, this person's here to help me. And I would hope that you guys all are actually here to help people. And yes, you can make money while doing it, but it is actually here to help people. So once you have connection with them, now it's time to start working. And actually, let's start getting them to work. And what you're going to do is you're going to help them develop their programming. That's the next word, programming. And I'm not talking about their workout program. I'm not talking about their nutrition program. I'm talking about the programming of their life, their day-to-day. What is it they're doing? Go back to those questions that you asked them already. Tell me about it. I want you to wake up in the morning or tell me what you do from the minute you wake up until you go to bed. And we're getting into the minutia, and this is what you have to do, though, because, again, you will find out what those things are. And I use the example of food journals because this is the shit that we used to tell people at the gym. They still do it. The personal trainers do it all the time, and it pisses me off to no end, because you have personal trainers that come in, they read a book and they get certified, and they have zero practice on how to talk to people and how to really listen to people. So they say, okay, well, cool. So just go ahead and give me a food journal. So, for the next week, go ahead and write down everything you eat. Last time I checked, I've never seen anybody write down a couple glasses of wine in their food journal. I wouldn't admit that. They don't write down how many cups of coffee they have. Most of the time, they don't even write their snacks in there. They may, if they're really, really honest, but most likely probably not. So a food journal is not going to do anything at all. Michael?
Somebody is unmuted. Can everyone mute? Let me see. I think I can get it. I got it. Okay.
Some cool thing going on the other line too. So, God, I lose my train of thought. I suck.
You were saying that people are not always honest in their food journals about like their snacks and their coffee and their wine.
You're absolutely right, because who wants to admit their wine and their snacks and all these different things? So you can't ask somebody just to, hey, give me a food journal, and they're not going to be forthright with that. So that's when you really need to get into the minutia of their daily life. And somebody asked me last week on a call of well, what if it's it's personal stuff? Look, I'm not telling you to say, hey, well, how many times a week are you getting late? Like, that's not the minutia that I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the pertinent details. Okay, so let's kind of keep this PG-13 rated. Whatever you want to do. So once you do that, once you get all this information, then you really want to say, okay, what's the next step in your programming? And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a challenge pack. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bag of Shakeology. You have to use what you know and what you've learned, and maybe even say, look, you know what? I'm going to take all this information you gave me. I'm going to come back at you in 2 days, and I'm going to help you with the program. I'm going to help you with the plan. So maybe you need to go do a little research first. There's nothing wrong with that. You do not have to have the answers right then and there, because you want to make sure that you give them something that's correct, good advice, as opposed to saying something that has worked for you. Remember that every single body on this planet is completely different, and what worked for you may not work for everybody else. That's why when we do programming, when I say program isn't workout programs, there's always different options. There's levels. There's all these different things. When it comes to nutrition plans, there's always different things like that, or different variations in a nutrition plan. So, you want to be very cognizant that what you're listening to about this person, and really take that into account. Robert said, is this prompted? I don't know if everybody can see the chat. Robert asked if this is prompted by them mentioning something about health and fitness. How do we transition from them being comfortable connecting with us to them telling us about their daily life? Once you have a connection with somebody, let's go back a little bit. Once you have established a great experience with somebody and they really feel that there's a connection means trust. So once they feel that, again, you can always say, hey, look, when it comes to the second or third call, and it's time to really talk to this person and really get into the nitty gritty, you can simply ask them, hey, look, man, I really, really want to help you. I want you to be honest with me. I hope that's okay. And so I might ask you a couple of personal questions if that's okay. If anything's too personal, tell me that's too personal. We'll move on to the next thing. Don't be afraid to really get in there and really, really get personal with people, because if they reached out to you in the first place, that meant they're asking for help, right? So they're not going to say, you know what, too personal. I don't want to tell you how much I eat every single day. They'll never say that. So just, you can always preface something with like a little disclaimer or a disclaimer question on that. So once you've gone through this programming, you're going to get to the point where you want to set goals in the program itself. And I'm staying on programming for a while because it is really massively important. This is usually what takes the longest to do, is you want to establish realistic goals, attainable goals. We hear all the time, look, and even the before and afters of, Beachbody programs, you see it in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I lost this much weight in 30 days, and 30 days is great. But 30 days is a long time for somebody who is overweight, out of shape, and is looking for a quick fix. So you have to make sure that you make their goals attainable and achievable. And 2 weeks has always been my favorite timeline, where I would always give my clients when I was training at the gyms, or even when I was selling memberships, I would help people get on a plan. And I would say, all right, let's go. I want to lose 30 pounds in a month. I'm like, okay, well, let's back up a little bit. How about we go with, how about you try to lose 5 pounds in the next 2 weeks? And they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, look, you're just getting started. Let's start easy. Let's go with it. And a lot of time they would come back and they lost maybe 10 to 12 pounds. And so they would overachieve and they really felt like they accomplished something. So make the goal. I'm not saying you make the goal as too easy, but make the goals attainable, and 2 weeks is usually a good thing to do. And then make the biggest freaking deal about it when they achieve that goal or surpass it. And when we're talking about making a big deal out of it, is seriously like every 2 weeks, celebrate the victories with them. And when we talk about celebration, these are what I call touch points. And touch points are huge in having and maintaining a connection with somebody. Touch points as in, and I know coaches, you guys are awesome about doing calls and video calls and things like that. You know, these weekly calls that you guys do, this is a touch point. What we're doing right now is a touch point for Beachbody coaches. You know, are you doing this weekly or bi-weekly with all of your team? With the people that are underneath you or whoever you're working with? That's, you should be. You know, that's the great thing about the digital age, is we can do this stuff. But the downside to the digital age is we're also losing the art of conversation. Whereas unless we're actually doing this, and this is also kind of one-sided for the most part, not as much dialogue, I know, because I'm talking, but even still, it's hard to have a dialogue. So we're losing that, and people just tend to send texts and emails and shit like that. And, you know, we're just losing it. You know, you see the millennials, sorry, millennials, if you're on this call, you guys don't know how to talk to people. It's like, yeah, dude. And I freaking hate it. So it's not all of you. Some of you are probably really good, but it just, look, I was raised in West Texas. It was hammered into me, and it just isn't the same anymore. So when, especially with that, that is actually going to surprise people when you throw out the touch points. Make a big deal out of it. It could be a postcard. It could be, you know, the cost of a stamp. You put that into your budget of a coach and expenses of, okay, I'm going to buy postcards, and they're going to get a postcard every 2 weeks and say, look, you're on the right track. Proud of you. The phone calls, you know, and what we see is, you know, take for instance how people go crazy when Carl calls them. I know, you know, look, he's the CEO of a $1 billion company, but he understands the value of touch points. And that's exactly why he does the phone calls and he does the Facebook lives and everything like that, because he is, even though he's the CEO of a $1 billion company and he has more direct reports than any CEO I've ever seen, and he's more involved in anything that I've ever seen in a company, he still has more touch points than almost anybody in that company. It's pretty impressive. And he understands the art of touch points. So remember touch points in your programming. Now, we go back to the funnel. So you set them up on their programming. They're going through this, and you set attainable goals and measurable goals. Now what's going to happen is they get results. They start seeing results. And when people start seeing results, one, they're going to trust you even more. Two, they're going to become more connected with you than ever, because also you're also reaching out to them and you're talking to them. You're going to keep talking with them about their programming. They're going to shift their you're going to shift their programming around. You're going to go through all these different things. And once those results are seen, out comes at the bottom of your funnel is your value. You just created so much value in everything that you do from the start, from the very, very top, of the minute you started throwing out information to this person, all the way down to where they started seeing results, that now there is so much value basically where they see it and they understand it and they love it. And then I guarantee you at some point in that, if it hadn't already happened, that's when they're going to go, you know what? I think I could do what you do. I'd like to help people too. Or tell me a little bit more about your business. How do you actually make weight? So I lost 20 pounds, but you made money off of me losing 20 pounds. How do I make money off of people losing weight? So once somebody really, truly understands the value of it, it's going to be so much easier, because one, they're going to really buy into it. They're going to be a part of it. There's no problem with the sale. You didn't even have to ask for the sale, because at some point through this funnel, again, they saw it. They were really getting into it, and they understood how it could benefit their life. So again, I go through that very, very quickly. I know it's a quick little boom, 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 so I can do a quick recap in terms of trigger words if this helps. So you have your fitness funnel. You go through, the first thing you do is you throw out information to people, capital I, information. Once the information comes back and really resonates with somebody, they decide they're going to call you, and they have their first experience with you. So once they have their first experience with you, it's either good or bad, and based on the experience, then you have a connection. So now they're connected with you. Once they're connected with you, you start working on the programming of their life, not their workouts, not their nutrition, their life programming. Once the programming is done, it actually works and tangible results 2 weeks at a time. They start to see results. And then that big V word that we're all going after is value at the end of it. Was all of that clear? Because that was really, really quick. So I'm going to pull up Ellen's questions right now to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I'll say hi. Hi, baby. Hi. My hot fiance just got home. So she's been working out. Okay, so let's see. So a couple questions here that Ellen had written down. What advice do you have for us? Was results in there before value? Yes, results. Once people see results, that's when they really see the value in what you do, what they're doing now. Because in terms of value of Shakeology, what has Shakeology done for their life? What is the workouts? What have Beachbody Performance have done? So yes, they see the value once they get the results. That was from Luke. So Ellen asked, what advice do you have for us trying to build a strong personal brand? A strong personal brand comes back to kind of what we talked about at the very, very beginning, was target audience. I see a lot. I'm looking at every single.
Can I interrupt? So you know how you said the thing about the golds, how they like see, and then it's like the last thing on their mind when they're ready because they keep hearing it, golds. So I think that that's really applicable to us because we keep showing up on social media and in people's lives, and we keep talking about everything. So then to tie that into that question about building a strong personal brand so that we do stand out, like so that we're not just, cookie cutter coaches,
Yeah, and look, okay, so I'll answer the question, but I'm asking you one first. What does a cookie cutter coach mean? Because remember, I know this much about coaching. So like I know, and again, I know like everybody coaches pictures like, I drank my Shakeology today, and okay. I had my workout today, I sweat today. Like I do the same shit. So what is a cookie cutter coach to you?
Okay, let me answer that. So first of all, I think that some of our markets, not everyone on this team, some of the coaches on this team live in like rural areas with small populations, and like they're the only coach there. And some of us live in populations where there's coaches, one on every block. And I think there's an up and a downside actually to both. So I think that a lot of times when I'm like looking at social media and scrolling feed, I see the same kind of thing, like people just drinking their Shakeology and taking a selfie, but it's not necessarily providing value. Like those are a dime a dozen, I feel like. And so something that I kind of am hoping to pride myself on with our team is that we're trying to add value. Like I love that. First of all, for you knowing nothing about coaching, that whole thing was very applicable to our business. So thank you. That was amazingly applicable. And I love how at the very bottom of the funnel is value. So I think it comes down to we need to provide value so that we stand out. And I guess I'm wondering if like building a strong personal brand, me being different from Bobby being different from Becky, being different from Brianna, like I just think that's so important.
Okay, so you're talking. Okay, so everything that you just said has to do with current coaches, right? Like all the posts that you're talking about are from current coaches. Who cares about current coaches? You don't want current coaches, right? You want people that aren't coaches. So when they say cookie cutter coach, yeah, that's fine. But you have to think about if there's what are we at, like 500, almost. So we're almost like 500,000 coaches now, 500,000 coaches. Okay. I don't know how many coaches of the United States are in the United States, but if let's just say there's 500, because there's 500,000 coaches in the world, basically. Beachbody On Demand is now, Beachbody On Demand is now in over 140 countries. Do the math on how many millions and millions and millions of people that is, not to mention that you still have, over 350 million people in the United States. Mm-hmm. Change your target. That goes back to the target audience. So if your feed is full of that post, that means that you're only posting to coaches, right? So change your target. And the easiest way to do that is, if you guys are doing this as a business, then, man, you learn how to advertise through Facebook and boost your posts to targets and audiences that have nothing to do with Beachbody.
Perfect.
So it's target audience and Facebook targeting is super, super simple to do. It's once you start getting into the minutia of it, it can get a little bit tedious. But if you're just trying to take a current post and boost it, it's really, really simple. And you can walk through it. And Facebook even tells you how to do it. I do it myself, but I'm doing it for, again, just coaches. So my target is only coaches. And now unless I'm going after Beachbody on Demand, and all those posts that I do, I boost to the, you can pick, I think, up to 25 countries in your target and your targeting when you do the ad. So I pick 25 of the biggest or the top countries that I know that Beachbody on Demand, I get the stats from the office. So like places like India, Dominican Republic, I put all my boost money towards that. I'm not talking a lot of money. I'm talking like $50 for a week worth of boost, and I'll reach 400,000 people. I get 400,000 views off this thing, and I might only get a few likes, but that was 400,000 people that just viewed one video. So it's huge, and that's where it goes back to the top level of information, where I know that I'm gonna have to keep throwing it out there, where eventually it's finally gonna stick. Like you throw a bunch of spaghetti up on the wall, one thing's gonna stick. That's exactly what's gonna happen on this one. So think about your targeting, think about who you're going after, and the word coach should probably lead that completely, because you're not going after coaches. It's funny. We are in a Facebook and Instagram, all this stuff. So social media is very bubbled, which means that we're in the fitness bubble right now. If we were not in fitness, and say we were really into Harleys and riding motorcycles, and that was our life, and we worked at a Harley shop, and all of our friends were Harley riders, then that's all the posts that you would ever see on your social media are people riding bikes and say, hey, I rode my bike today, and standing by their bike. It's just like you see a Shakeology. So it's all very bubbled, and because you're in the fitness bubble, that's all you see. So you're not trying to necessarily, you don't want to stand out in your bubble, because that's not going to do any good. You want to go into a different bubble. You want to jump out of your bubble. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but so I guess the easiest way to sum it up is
Wait, you froze. Hold on. He's frozen.
Yeah, I don't see him. He's blank now. Jember, fix it.
Here, let me text him. He's frozen to all of us, right? He's frozen to all of us, right?
Yeah, he's frozen.
Wait, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's back. He's muted, though. He's back.
Oh.
Sorry,
Okay, we
guys.
lost you. You're back. We lost you.
That's I've never had that happen before. So let me see.
You are unmuted.
All right, hang on. Stand by. All right, do I got everybody?
Yeah.
That was weird. I never have lost my internet connection before. Okay. I'll turn this way. You can go. Okay. My chick. Okay. You want to say hi? Look, say hi. Like, hi.
Hi, Brianne.
It's Ellen.
Oh,
Hi.
All right. So yeah, sorry guys. Losing that. If I lose it again, I'll pop on my phone or something like that. It's really strange. So I lost some of the things here. Facebook, you can change who posts you see first and create groups. Absolutely, you can do that. You can also change it. Just remember though, if your Facebook post is public, which obviously you want it to be, it's really, but only the people that follow you or friends you are going to see that. So you can create groups, but it's only the groups in your group, your network, your friends list. So, and your friends list is only 5,000 strong, unless you have a Facebook fan page or, a business page. So you're only, again, for only 5,000 people. So you really want to make sure that you're going, look, again, put it in your freaking budget, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money. You can get views, impressions are called impressions on Facebook advertising. The impressions are actually very, very cheap. It's when you go into the call to actions and you're trying to get people to click things, that's when it gets a little bit more pricey. So, but you can easily start with just impressions, and impressions are super cheap. I think I'll give you an example just because I just got a notification on one that I'm doing right now. Is I spent $6.51 today, and I reached 16,000 people for $6.51. That was my impressions that off just one day of a $50 budget. I mean, I constantly change it around. I change it every single week. Sometimes I'll do $50 if I'm trying to do Beachbody on demand and really, really want to get a bunch of people over again, across the world. I might do 100, but I don't think I've ever done more than 100. And I spread it across 2 weeks. And then again, you get you get 500,000 views easy. Let's see. Deneb, I don't think that's a name. I think that's short for something. So sorry. Asked a question here. When you talk rewards, how do you deter or suggest? I can't read today. When you talk rewards, how do you deter or suggest other options for reward other than it being bad food? I've had many people want to celebrate with food, and how would you get around that? Every now and then, again, is good, but not as a celebration tool. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, to an extent, just because Ellen knows me, and I'd be a liar if I agreed completely with that one. Because I'm the first guy. Robert, yeah, you're not a dog, but I reward myself with food. I love food. Burgers. Love burgers and beer and pizza and hot dogs. I love food. So it comes down to what they're trying to do. So if someone's trying to lose weight, then no, we're not going to say that they get food on their journey. It comes to the point like where we talk the 80-20 rule, or whatever it is. I call it fitness realism, where we have a good week, really sticking clean, having a good time, great workouts, and then one day, Saturday or Sunday, I don't care. I am going to eat whatever I want, and I don't care what anybody says. And that's my realism. That's where I get to enjoy myself. And if so really, I would say use it as a common sense tool. Is if someone's trying to lose 50 pounds, then no, we're not going to reward them with food. So find out, what are their little indulgences, what are their splurges, what's something they really would love to do that maybe haven't done. Usually, lots of people come back and if you throw out like go get a massage or something like that, they're like, oh my God, who doesn't want to go get a massage? And they're not that much more expensive than a night out on the town if you go to dinner nowadays. So yeah, Dawn says shoes, clothes, makeup, fitness trackers. Shoes, books, audio, music. That comes back into the listening thing, where you probably should have heard some things that they really love to do, and you can put that on the list of interests and likes, so then what those things are about them and what their triggers are, and then help them with that. So great question. Did I answer the personal brand one, hopefully? Yeah, okay. How do you make people feel valued? I think that really comes back to the listening to them and making sure that the really comes into the connection aspect of it, where people feel like that you are genuinely there to help them, and that will make them feel valued for sure. How do I balance work and personal time? My life is simple. I have a fiance and a cat, so it's pretty easy. We work during the day, and then we always make sure that we have some time to ourselves in the evening. And then we, unless something's going on, we definitely make sure that we go out and do something, at least have a date night or go out and do things together on the weekends. So, really making sure that, and look, it depends on what you're trying to do. There's going to be there's times where you're going to be super busy constantly. And there's times where I am just nonstop, where we've done stuff, depends on where we're at in, what we're doing with Beachbody or something like that. So there might be times where I'm just constantly on my phone or constantly working on something. And there's gonna be times that I don't have a whole lot. So I go golfing and, we hang out. So, it balances for everybody to find out what works for them in their life, and significant others and cats. I say cats a lot, so there you go. What supplements do I use? I have the Beachbody Performance line. I post about it all the time, and I only post it because that's what I do. I really, really love it. The Beachbody, the Recover Orange, I'm not playing on my posts. I am addicted to that stuff. It's every single day if possible, and maybe sometimes twice a day. If I'm like, ooh, I'm doing 2 workouts, I should have 2 because that's how it's justified up here. And I love the hydrate. I throw it in my water when I work out, and the recharge if I'm feeling like I need a little treat. Robert, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're Team Chocolate. I'm Team Orange, so there you go. Supplements, and then in terms of that, look, there's all kinds of other supplements out there. I always make sure I take all of my vitamins and minerals and all that good stuff. My mom is a herbalist, so she makes sure she sends me like a shitload of pills all the time. So I'm stocked up. How do you overcome hard seasons of life? Suck it up and deal with it. Put your big girl panties on and deal with it because it's there. It's going to happen. Look, I was not planning on driving 3.5 hours north yesterday morning and 3.5 hours back this afternoon. And I got home and I was tired and I haven't slept really since Saturday night. But I still went and made myself work out because I knew I would be really pissed if I didn't, just because I ate fast food like the whole trip because it was not planned. My uncle and I had to go up north real quick. So we ate shit the whole trip. And, that's the hard part, but you just come back and you deal with it. And look, sometimes you can't plan ahead for that stuff, but, you can't control everything, but, just get it done. And then you can always come back from it for sure. So not the best advice probably, but I'm just giving you my own personal advice. My history in the industry and how to Beachbody find me. So I'll try and make this one short. So like I said earlier, my first job in the gym was 19, I think it was 19 or 20. I can't remember. I think I might've been drunk my first job. So it was the front desk job of a 24-hour gym, not a 24-hour fitness, just a gym that was open 24 hours. And it was the 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift, the graveyard shift. And it worked for me because I was already bartending and partying all night. So I was like, that's fine. And so because of that, I had to learn all the facets, how to sell a membership. And it was kind of, the morning manager. They called it the manager shift, but it was just because nobody else wanted it and just to make you feel important. And that's when I started learning the industry. And, then we became a sales manager. Then because I had so many connections, and this was in Lubbock, Texas, at Texas Tech, and I had so many connections from being in the nightclub industry for a couple of years that I went into promotions for the gym and was going out and doing all these different promotions and doing all this different stuff. And then, but still, even for me, I wasn't really truly, I was in the business of it, but I wasn't truly invested in the practice of it. So I went and lifted, but I would always smoke a cigarette on the way to the gym and then light one up on the way back. It was always great. And then then moved up to Washington, Olympia, Washington. I think I was 22. Moved up there and got into managing a small gym up there. And that was kind of the turning point. So, mid-20s was when I was finally like, all right, so maybe it's not a good idea to smoke a cigarette out back of the gym. Who knew? And then really started to get into the fitness aspect of it, the health of it. And also that's when that gym had Les Mills classes. And that was the first time I did my first Les Mills class. And I took body pump, got my ass kicked, and said, oh, this is fun. I like this. And I think I could do this. And everybody's like, man, it'd be so great if you taught. And I became an instructor, and it was great actually, because you want to talk about living the life and really helping people understand how, group exercise can get them involved in programming. Like that was programming. So it actually helped me sell more memberships because I always invite them like, hey, come to my class. And people would be like, okay. And they would come to my class and then they were like, oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, I'll join the gym. So it was great to put value in from that, using my own personal, what I was doing, my own personal endeavors to add value and give people a great experience. We lived up there for 8 years and did gym stuff, did Les Mills stuff, was teaching classes. That's when I went through the whole boot camp to become a trainer for Les Mills, and then also worked for the Department of Health for 4 years. And then I was over in New Zealand. We were doing photographs, the cover shots. We were myself and Jericho was over there, and a couple other people. And I had met Jericho at a quarterly, just a workshop a couple years before that. So we were there just shooting pictures, asset covers for the Les Mills stuff. And I taught a class in the main gym in New Zealand, the Les Mills gym, and they were videoing it. And I thought it was just for feedback purposes. It was actually an audition tape. I didn't know it. So I auditioned for Les Mills Pump. And had no idea. And then like a year later, I was back in Washington. They said, hey, we're doing this new thing with this company called Beachbody. Do you want to be involved? And I was like, sure. And we got paid like nothing for it. They were just like, well, you're going to come back over to New Zealand and, we're going to film it. I'm like, all right. I didn't know any better. And, Pump came out. It was great. As businesses and companies do, they don't agree all the time. So the company split. And then in the meantime, I came back to California, I guess almost 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago, and took the job with Gold's Gym as their Group X director for the LA franchise. 12 gyms, ran 12 gyms, and then became their marketing director, and then was fine doing that. I was really enjoying doing the marketing. And then Carl called me up one day on my cell phone and said, hey, what do you think? Why don't you come over here? I'm like, all right, sounds good. And here I am sitting here talking to you a year and a half later. So that is the abridged version of how did I got involved in this. So a lot of that shit is being in the right place at the right time. That's for sure. And that pretty much goes into one of the questions that I know Ellen asked about people saying, I think it was, if they want to get to the level I'm at in the fitness industry. I think that was a question. I have to scroll. Let's see. I can't find it now. Maybe that wasn't a question, but anyway, right place at the right time. Yeah, Robert, I worked with the Mecca gym. I worked with the Venice gym. That was a corporate gym, but I helped them a lot with their stuff. Yeah. So there's three corporate gyms in LA. The rest of them were ours. My favorite movie. Ooh, babe, what's my favorite movie?
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Thank you. See, she knows me so well. It's Dumb and Dumber. Come on, obviously. There's a couple close seconds for sure, but Dumb and Dumber is like we walk around this apartment quoting it daily to each other. So that's pretty much why she has a ring on her finger. So one of two reasons, I don't know. Where was I at? How do you keep challengers motivated to stay active in the app and the Facebook group? That is a great question. And every single coaching call has asked me that question on how to keep people engaged. You guys, it is a challenge. And I deal with it all the time. So, I've got my Joel Freeman Fitness Support Group on Facebook. Is just, and we've done different things since that page has started. And I asked myself the same question at the beginning. I was really frustrated because I was like, okay, I've got like 1,100 people joining this thing and 8 people are posting about it on a daily basis. Like, where'd the other 1,085 people go? What the hell? And the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized that, some of these groups, and the great thing about groups is it really allows people to be a part of something almost anonymously. And you have to take that into account, that not every single person that is going to be a part of a group is going to post and be a part of some, and because they're not, there's so many people out there that, that will be a part of that. Like, perfect example is, think of all the people that have a Facebook page that only use it so they can see what everyone else is doing. I'm not talking about like the creeper status stalker style. I'm just talking about the people that want to see what their friends and everybody are doing. They don't ever really post themselves because that's just not them. So just keep that in mind. Keeping people engaged, though, is a challenge. And when it comes to that, when it comes to your challenge groups, really think about, again, your target audience and look at these people and say, okay, who is in this and why are they in this? And then once you figure this out, then ask, is whatever we're doing, is the challenge pertinent to the people that are in here? Does it interest them? So that's something that I have to think about myself when I'm doing my little groups as well. Which, by the way, the Joel Freeman Fitness Facebook group is not to take away from your challenge groups by any means. That is simply a Facebook page I started because then it's an easier way for me to watch what everyone's doing. And I can throw in, certain challenges sometimes, but it has nothing to do with taking away from you guys, just so you know. Because somebody had said, well, he's calling it a challenge group too. I'm like, I'm not a coach. I can call whatever I want. So neener. All right. Let's see. I answered that. What age I got started in the fitness industry. What advice do I have? There it is. What advice do I have for someone trying to reach my level of success? As I said, it really, look, a lot of it really did come down to being in the right place at the right time when it came to the Les Mills pump thing. But what I have done over the past decade is I just kept going and doing things that made me happy. That I enjoyed to do, that I like to do. And if I didn't like to do it, I wouldn't, and I would change it. So if I didn't like a job, I wouldn't do it anymore. I would stop doing it. I would go find something else. That means, so I restarted a couple times in terms of careers because of that. And, restarted quite a few times in cities because I was like, okay, I don't like that city anymore. I'm going to move here, and just really worked on that. So, not to say that if somebody says, okay, I want to be a super trainer, what do I got to do? That's a hard question because there's so many different ways to get to this level. Like, look at what's happening with the 20s now that's coming out, all these different endeavors. What I say is, and we heard this a lot. I use the Les Mills example because I heard it all the time, massive amounts, the short time that I was a trainer for him. And that was the thing is I went through the training process. Jericho did it for 8-9 years. I went through the process. I did like 3 trains. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. It's too, I don't want to fly around the country all the time. And I just didn't like it. So I changed my path. But I always heard people like, oh man, I really want to become a trainer. And I took it from experience. I said, man, I really wanted to be a trainer too. So 3 years before when I got certified and became an instructor, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a trainer. And I did. And I became a trainer. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be a trainer. I don't like it. So, I think there's a path that you have to take to get to the certain things that you think you want. And I guarantee you, as you go through that path, there's going to be a couple times where you're like, maybe not, or maybe I'm going to change my path a little bit. So it's kind of horrible advice, but it's the best advice I can give in that regard. Not giving you a solid answer. You like that? Eleanor already named her Bengal kitten without consulting me. By the way, babe, she called it, was it Tui from Ratatouille? She called her Bengal kitten Tui. I was going to say Bella the Bengal. I thought it was pretty cute. We can vote on this right now if you want. And,
Bella is really cute.
Bella the Bengal. I was like, come on, this is awesome. So, and only reason I'm saying that is because we're going to get a Bengal, but we're getting a male. So we already got our male name. I'm not telling you because you might steal it. So,
Okay, deal.
Yeah. Robert, the fact that Bella is the name of the dumb girl in Twilight worries me. That's not something you tell people in public. So anyway, not Benny. No, not Ben. I'm not telling you guys the name of the Bengal that we're going to do. It'll be announced when we get it. What role do I see myself as a trainer for the next year, 5 years? Well, look, I can't tell you what's the next year, within the next year. You're going to have to find out for yourself. And you'll find out soon enough. But the 5-year plan, look, I'm going to keep doing this until I don't want to do it anymore, until I'm not happy with it. If something about it makes me unhappy, I'm going to change it. But right now, I love Beachbody. I love the company. I love Carl and all the guys I work with on a daily basis at the office. I love working with Jericho and, she and her husband and little boy, they're my family. I have a great time doing it. So I'm just going to be the next 5 years. I'm just going to pump as much stuff out at you guys as I can. As I said, I'm going to ride the train till they kick me off. So that's my 5-year plan. Is hold on for dear life until they find somebody young, trade me in for a younger model. So let's see, what trends would you predict will start to become more popular over what's this thing? I can't read it. I lost my little thing. What trends are the next year? The rise of body weight, functional fitness. Okay. So what fitness trends? That's a hard one. It's a challenge. And look, you know what? I think technology is going to play the biggest role in any fitness trend that we're going to see in the next 5 years. We're only going more and more towards the digital side. Look at Beachbody On Demand. It's still in beta, but if you look at other companies that are out there with their digital platforms, they're sinking, so many resources into it. Beachbody is doing the exact same thing, but they're doing a really good job of pacing themselves to make sure we're going after the right target and make it sustainable and long lasting, and not a fad. The things, I think we're going to start to see a decline. We've already started to see the decline in high impact weight training, such as CrossFit. CrossFit is super popular, has been super popular thanks to Reebok. Reebok bought them, rejuvenated them. CrossFit's been around for 13 years. I did it when I was 22 and hence 2 herniated discs in my back. Thank you very much. It's been around for a very, very long time. And, they made it very, very easy to open gyms, CrossFit boxes, pay $3,000, do the 1-day certification, you're CrossFit certified, you can open a gym and start, telling people to throw 200 pounds over their head. So it's been great for surgeons and orthopedics, and physical therapists, but horrible for the rest of the population. So I think we're going to start to see a decline in that. As I say, muscles heal, joints and tendons do not. So once your joints and tendons are messed up, they're messed up for life. So people are going to start to realize that, and the research is going to become a little bit more apparent. So we're going to hopefully see a decline in that stuff, and I think it's kind of the same wave of, when we had high impact step aerobics 20 years ago. Step is still great, but when they were doing the crazy high impact aerobic classes, that's, on concrete floors, that's when we started to see the decline. So I think we're going to start to see less high impact. We're going to see more of the, I hate to see it. I can't wait for this fad to die down as all the freaking Instagram models, useless people like Kim Kardashian, who are fitness people. I can't stand that. I think it's, these are the people that have millions and millions of followers because they have a nice ass and they put it on Instagram. Maybe I should start doing that. I'll get more followers, but it's, hopefully we'll see that decline because there's zero value from these people. And there are some people out there that are doing really, really good, like Paige Hathaway. She's awesome. She has millions of followers, but she's actually putting content out there. Steve Cook, Brianna and I both follow him. He's awesome because they're putting content out there. So hopefully we'll see some more of that stuff happen, and people that are utilizing their followers to actually give them content. And in the world of home fitness, I have a couple ideas, but I'm not going to tell you yet. So there, because that would ruin the surprise in the next 5 years of all the stuff I want to give you. And then that pretty much goes in the last question. As Ellen asked, how do I want to revolutionize at-home fitness moving forward? I can't tell you that yet. You're going to have to find out for yourself. So again, rapid fire questionnaire. There you go. Hope that got all the questions, Ellen.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I was going to say just a couple of things in kind of closing. One, I think some of the biggest takeaways, because I know these people, I know the people that are on this call, and hearing everything that you just walked us through, I think some of our biggest takeaways are going to be that we can apply are, like, I love what you said about like not expecting it to be reciprocal, like not expecting an answer, not expecting a yes, and then also not asking for the sale on that first contact. That's huge. Thank you for saying that. I hope that we imprint that on the way we do business, and then giving them free info, making those like personal touch points, both with customers and our downlines, like making touch points. That's such a good, I love that little phrase. Knowing when the timing is right and like celebrating hard. I used to run challenge groups and stuff in terms of like 60 days and 90 days, and then have shortened them to more like a month. And so I like what you said about even 2 weeks, like focusing even on more attainable short-term goals and wins. So that is new info. So I thought that was excellent. And like being a better listener, letting them talk. People love to talk about themselves. Those were all huge, I think, really applicable little nuggets for us. And then I know that we've kept you long enough, but since you may have plans in the next 5 years, if and when those plans come to fruition and become public, perhaps you could come back to our team and do a call telling us all about it. We would love to have you.
Hey, look, I would, you got my number, and Ellen, I love you to death, and I'm happy to jump on these calls. This is the fun stuff for me. I absolutely love doing this. That's why, and like, if I didn't want to do this, I wouldn't have like 20 something calls set up in the next couple of weeks, just because this is fun for me. I really enjoy doing this. So yeah, when I come up with something new, some more BS to throw at you guys, I will more than happy to jump on and share it with you. So, and yes, there's some really cool things coming. I promise you, just be patient. It's going to be amazing. So, and as always, I get to do my shameless plugs on these calls. So, if you haven't done my Beachbody On Demand workouts, I hope you try them. They're great. They're modeled after some of my own personal workouts, and we have a great time doing them. 8x8 and grab bag power. You can do it with a sandbag or a dumbbell or a small heavy animal, whatever works. Then also see Instagram at Joel Freeman Fitness, Joel Freeman on Facebook, and then if you want to be a part of the Joel Freeman Fitness group, join it. That's all you got to do is type that in and have a good time. And if you haven't figured out, I don't take a lot of things too seriously. I like to have a good time, and Ellen knows that very well as well. So, but anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble on.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to say hi, Chloe? Hang on, hold on.
Yes.
All right, hang on. Come here, Tubbers. This is Chloe. Oh. There you go. That's the kitty cat. That's the one that you always hear and always talk about. Right? She's a little camera shy. Oh, there you are.
So sweet.
Fun. So,
all right, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much, Joel.
That's fine. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.
Bye.